Between 65 and 70 for a 30-year-old?
It's actually 45.
Oh, okay.
Would you ever marry a guy who makes less money than you?
How much less?
Would you rather be single than settle for less than that?
Settle for less than the Millionaire?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and in modern dating, a lot of our happiness tends to stem from our expectations. And unhappiness specifically, and the trouble that I think a lot of people have, stems from unrealistic expectations. So in this video, I have a group of girls with me, and I'm going to be asking them questions about what they want their life to be like realistically, and also ask them questions about what they want their partner to be like, specifically highlighting male income and salary. I'm also going to be sharing with them some statistics surrounding male income and the median male income here in the United States for different ages. I also want to say before we get started, the point of these videos is not to make anybody look stupid or to debate. That's just not who I am. That's not what we do on this channel. The point is to have a conversation and really confront these unrealistic expectations that we have surrounding dating and specifically here around income. Just to start out, what's the ideal age for a guy that you would be looking to marry?
Like a 5-year gap would be good. So if I'm 28, maybe like he's in his young to mid 30s.
Okay, so like 33, we'll say?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're 28?
Yes.
Like 32.
32. Yeah. And how old are you?
22.
22, okay.
30, 35, like in that range.
Okay, so want to go like 33 to go in the middle? Okay, and then how old were you? 28?
28.
Okay.
Between like 25 and 35.
Okay, do we want to go with like 30 maybe?
25, 30, or the age of 30.
Maybe like 30 if
yeah,
we had to
maybe
pick
like
something.
30ish, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm 25,
Okay.
so I'd say the max is like 30 or 32.
Okay. Do we want to go with 30 just to be safe?
Yeah.
For like marriage or something like that? Okay.
At max.
Ooh, I'd say maybe like 26 or 27.
Okay. We'll go 20. How old are you? 21?
21, yeah.
Pick 26 or 27. Pick one.
26.
26.
29, 30.
Okay. Pick one if you had to.
29.
How much of the family income do you personally want to contribute?
I think ideally it'd be great if my husband were the like main breadwinner and I would do like part-time. That kind of thing where I had more flexibility, especially later on if we plan on having a family.
Okay. So do we want to do like 25%?
I'd say like 25%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 50-50 and 0.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
Stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom.
Okay, so 0%.
You know, ideal is stay-at-home wife or mom, but I wouldn't mind doing 50-50 as well.
Okay.
It's like crazy because I've never like really thought about getting married or have kids. Like I've just always thought of myself as just being like a hermit my whole life and just being alone. Not in like a really depressing way, just like that's just like how I always am. But if I was to have kids and everything, it would be like in a marriage situation. Yeah, I believe in like traditional roles like that.
Okay, you just don't know if you see that for yourself necessarily.
Yeah, but hypothetically,
Okay.
I probably want to be the stay-at-home mom with children.
Got it.
Oh, it all depends on how much you make. I believe in 50-50. I think it all depends on breaking your own salary up. As far as like bills and expenses, again, depending on your salary, I think it should go 50-50.
Okay, so we'll say 50-50. You have kind of the team mentality. Like we're going to do it together. We're 50-50. Okay.
I'd like to be 50-50.
Okay. And you said you just graduated school
Yeah.
to be...
I'll be a clinical psychologist in a few years.
I like being the breadwinner now, but I think when I have a kid, I would want to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, so we'll say 0%. Okay, so how many kids do you want?
I think 2 would be great.
Okay, and what about house size, like square feet, amount of bedrooms, bathrooms?
At this point, I'm not too picky, but definitely a house that would be comfortable, you know, have enough space for the children and maybe a little room for extra, you know, for visitors. Not too picky at this point, but definitely want to have a comfortable lifestyle.
Okay, and then what about cars? Do we like luxury cars, regular? What kind of brand are we thinking?
I don't expect luxury, but definitely, you know, it's got to be a good quality car. Maybe look nice too.
Okay.
But not too picky with that either.
Okay, so like, would you be okay with like a Honda?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about vacations? Do you want to go on vacations regularly, international? Like, how important is travel to you?
For me, I've personally lived abroad, so I would love to continue to travel. But I think at least once a year, going on like a vacation or traveling somewhere, that would be great.
I want you to describe your ideal lifestyle. So to start off, how many kids would you say you want to have?
Like 3, 4.
Okay. And what about house size? Like square feet, number of bedrooms and bathrooms?
3.5 beds, 4 beds.
Okay.
Maybe like 2,000-ish square feet.
Okay. All right. And what about cars? Do you want to drive a luxury car or just like a regular car? Like what brand?
I like luxury cars.
Okay. What brand if you had to say?
Like a Tesla, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about vacations? Do you want to go on vacations regularly, international travel?
I'd like to,
Okay.
if it's reasonable.
How many kids do you want?
3. At least
Okay.
3 kids, yeah.
And what about house size, square feet, or like how many bedroom and baths?
I definitely want like 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths.
Okay. So maybe like 2,500 square feet. Is that enough?
Sounds good.
Okay. What about cars? Do you want a luxury car or a regular car? Like what brand would you want?
If I'm having a family, I feel like I would just want, like a regular car that's going to be reliable. Don't have to worry about it breaking down.
Okay.
But if it's just going to be like me and him in the beginning, I would love a BMW, a Benz. If it's
All
just
right.
me
So
and him.
you would appreciate a luxury car.
Mhm.
All right. And then what about vacations? Do you want to vacation regularly? International travel? Is that important to you?
That is very important. I love to travel, so both like international and just, going to like fun different places.
So now, how many kids would you want?
I'll probably just say 2.
Okay. What about your house size, square feet, or like how many bedrooms and bathrooms?
Something modest, probably a ranch style. Probably not something like upstairs. Is that what it's called, a ranch style house?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's just something small and simple, just like a bedroom for us, bedrooms for the kids. A nice backyard though, probably a big backyard.
Okay.
Something like that. Nothing in the city, nothing around people, somewhere nice and quaint.
All right. You can live out your hermit life there.
Right.
Yes, we love that. What about cars? You want a luxury car or are you just a regular car type of gal? What kind of brand?
Right now I'm saving up to just get like a Honda CR-V. I just want like a nice SUV I could like road trip in and stuff. So
Okay.
I'm not really a car person.
Okay, something that would work for your lifestyle. and
Something
fit
reliable
everyone.
with like low maintenance costs.
Okay, so we'll go with a Honda. That's fair.
Yeah.
And then what about vacations? Do you like to travel? Do you want to travel internationally?
Yeah, so I don't really get to travel much, but yeah, like I said, road tripping, like that's like one of the things on my bucket list is to go camping in all 50 states. So that'd be something fun to do if I had a family. Vacations, yeah, I'd love to go a bunch of places like India, Dubai, Thailand, countries like that. Always wanted to go and experience.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, places like that.
All right, so travel would be important to you then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many kids do you want?
I have an older sister and a younger sister, so 3 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
I would be okay with 0 to maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
I don't want a bunch of kids running around.
Okay, we'll say 2 just for the sake.
Mhm.
What about house size? Square feet, bedroom, bathroom?
Probably a 3-bedroom. I think a yard is more important. I like big yards. I like being outside.
Okay. What about cars? Do we want luxury or regular?
Preferably not like a beater. I mean, unless you're saving money and using that for something else. As long as it gets you from point A to point B. I'm not super familiar with cars, but I
Okay.
always like Mercedes. Those are
Okay.
really nice.
All right. What about vacations? You want to go on regular vacations? You want to travel internationally?
I don't travel super often right now, so I would love a guy who has some more travel experience. I would love to travel more and have someone to do that with and
Okay.
feel somewhat safe about it.
Right. Now, describe your lifestyle. How many kids do you want?
Oh, I want 4 kids.
4 kids, okay? What about your house size? Square feet or like a bedroom, bathroom? How many?
I'd like maybe like 7 bathrooms just because if my kids get older and then like my parents get older, if they have to move in and having enough room to like support everyone.
Did you mean 7 bedrooms?
Yeah.
Okay, you said bathrooms. I was like, that's a lot of bathrooms.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, so square feet, what are we thinking? 5,000, 4,000?
I guess 5,000. I don't really know a whole lot about square footage.
Okay, we're just going off the bedrooms then. Okay. And then what about cars? Are you a luxury car girl? Are you a Honda girl? What brand are we thinking?
I would like something like an Acura or like a Jetta, like still a nice car, but I don't really care for like the super duper bougie cars.
Got it. Okay. And then what about vacations? You want to go on vacations regularly, internationally?
Yeah, I definitely want to go on vacations when I'm older. I want to travel the entire world. I want to go everywhere.
Okay. How many kids do you want?
3.
House size, like square feet, amount of bedrooms and bathrooms?
Big house, 3 bedrooms probably at least.
Okay. What about cars? Do you want to drive a luxury car or a regular car?
Luxury car,
What brand?
an Audi.
Okay. What about vacations? Do you want to go on vacations regularly, international travel? Is that important to you?
that is actually. I do want to travel and definitely before I have kids.
So keeping all this in mind, the way that you just painted your life, what would your husband's income be?
Like 200,000 plus. Yeah, like somewhere in that range.
200K?
Yeah, 200, 250.
Probably like 100K and up.
If the average is like 50, maybe like 70 plus.
Okay.
Having budgeted like a vacation fund and a savings fund. Saving money, fund money, divvying it up that way.
So do we want to say like 70K, 80K?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And you also said you would contribute 50-50, so that's 140 total household income. Would that be enough? Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Don't really know how much like kids and all that other stuff costs quite yet, so I think that sounds good.
It would probably have to be a little bit so that we could do these things, because nowadays it's really hard to do anything without any money. So I guess maybe like 80K.
Okay.
His income should be something close to about 160,000.
Okay. And then you would contribute around the same amount?
Yeah.
Okay, because you said the 50-50.
I would like to say maybe 100,000
Okay.
at least. Yeah.
All right, we'll go with 100K.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to be rich, unfortunately. This is so high, but I guess you'd have to be like a millionaire.
$1 million? Okay. So you wanted a 32-year-old who's making 200K.
Sure.
What do you think the median income is for the age that you specified? For a 32-year-old?
32-year-old. Like 70 maybe? 65, 70? Is it lower?
48,000.
Wow. That's actually crazy.
48,000.
48,000.
Median income for the age that I picked. I would say probably like 70K maybe.
It's actually $49,000.
Wow.
What percent of men do you think make $100,000 at 33 years old? Or like, what is the percent of men that you are wanting here?
I'd probably say maybe 30%.
It's actually 15%. The top
Not too shabby.
15%. So there's one age from 16 to 75 where the top 30% of men make $100,000. So you guessed 30%. So we'll try to guess what age that is, since you know it's not 33. Between 16 and 75, there's only one age.
I feel like 45.
73.
Really? Maybe I should go with the old man. Just kidding.
Is that out of your age bracket there?
Yeah.
Trying to take every job into consideration. 30-year-old, I'd say maybe 65? Between 65 and 70 for a 30-year-old?
It's actually 45.
Oh, okay.
And you were the most realistic one so far. So the fact that, no one's guessing it right, because it's way lower than people think.
As long as you love your job and hopefully are investing it wisely, then I don't see a problem with it.
For a 26-year-old, what do you think the median income is?
I'm pretty sure it's closer to like 60,000.
It is $38,000.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What do you think is the median income for the age that you specified, so a 33-year-old?
I would like to say around 100K, maybe 80K. I'm not exactly sure.
It is a whopping $49,000.
Oh. Oops. My brain was somewhere else.
I don't even know. Maybe 50?
Okay.
Or 60K?
For a 30-year-old, the median income is 45.
Okay.
So you were close at 50. So what do you think is the median income for the age that you specified at 29?
I want to say like 60K.
45K.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that shock you?
Yes, it does.
So I'm just going to put what you wanted in this little calculator here. So $1 million at 29.
I mean, I've met a few. I have met a few.
Okay, we'll
It's
talk
possible.
about that in a minute. So it's a fraction of a percent. The top 1% of men are making 240 at 29.
Okay.
So you're about 800,000 above that.
That's why I'm single.
You said 160,000 at 26. That is the top 2% of men.
Oh, goodness gracious.
at 26. Yes. So think about the valedictorian at your high school, the smartest person you've ever met. They have a better chance of getting into Harvard than you do to find the 2% man. Isn't that kind of crazy to think about?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'll give you this to kind of put it into perspective. So think about the smartest person from your high school, like valedictorian.
Okay.
If they were to apply to Harvard, they're 5 times more likely to get into Harvard than I guess you would be to find this 1% man.
Wow.
Because there's a 5% acceptance rate at Harvard, and yours is less than 1%. So it's actually probably more than 5 times.
So I'm going to be single forever.
And just to make things make more sense, the median income never eclipses $61,000 regardless of the age.
Okay.
So $100,000 is, obviously way more than that, regardless of how old the guy is.
Mm-hmm. And $100,000 is still a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah, over 70% of men never even make $100,000 once in their lifetime. So
yeah, that's true.
But there's one age between the ages of 16 and 75
Mm-hmm.
where the top 30% of men make $100,000. If you had to guess what age it is, what would you guess?
Maybe 50?
73.
Ooh.
What do you think about dating a 73-year-old?
Nope. No thanks.
What is making girls want men who make so much money? Like for you personally, just think of your own experience. Like what in your life makes you want that or think that?
I think you're exposed to other people's lifestyles. And I think that because the internet is so like big and you can see all these things, it looks like it's more obtainable than what it actually could be or is based on statistics.
Yeah.
But because everyone's flashing stuff, even if it's fake, it's like, oh, I can do that too. I want that. And
What made you choose $100,000? Like, how much is it? Maybe factoring in how much you make, how much people make. Have you ever dated a guy that makes that much money?
Typically, the guys I date, they make like 6 figures and more. So, and then like with my income, and then just know like the people who I attract, that's typically like their income bracket or where they're like heading towards.
Okay, so you've dated men who've made this much money, and were you like official and exclusive, or was it more of like a casual relationship?
All of the above.
A mix of all of them?
Yeah.
What in your life, or maybe people you've dated, your background, what makes 70K like a good number for you?
I'm making a little less than 70K right now. I won't disclose that, but or any more information. Like you said, 140. I'm not super familiar with all like housing costs and whatnot, but I feel like right now I'm at a comfortable place where I have some going to savings, some going to like investments, fun money, vacations. But yeah, I'd say that's a comfortable and somewhat realistic salary range.
And you said that you would marry a guy who makes less money than you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What made you say 160,000? Like, is it what you're doing for a living, your background? Have you ever dated guys that make this much? What kind of influenced your choice?
I've definitely never dated a guy who made anywhere near that, but currently, like, for a clinical psychologist, if someone were to get their doctorate degree, they're looking at about 100 to 140,000, depending on where they live. So that's where I was basing my answers off of.
Okay. So what you're doing for a living, you're kind of taking that into consideration too.
Yeah.
Would you marry a guy who makes less money than you?
Depending on how much less, yes.
Because if you want 4 kids and you're going to contribute 50-50, what is your situation going to look like? Will you get a nanny? What are we thinking?
That's a good question. I guess I would have to get a nanny, but if not, then hopefully we would live somewhere locals where like our parents could help out as much as they could, an extended family.
Okay. All right. What made you say 100,000? Is it, relative to how much you make or some people you know or people you've dated, your background? Like, what made you say that number?
Honestly, now that I think about it, there are a lot of the guys I know, my age, 28. Yeah, I guess like they wouldn't be anywhere close to that. So I don't know why I said that exactly, but I think I just have this image in my head of, like social media, like you see like all this lavish stuff and all that business. But I guess now that I think about my real life, it does seem a bit high.
So social media kind of makes it seem like more people make that than they actually do.
Yes, I think so.
I think sometimes you don't realize that until you see the actual statistics. And it's like, oh, the median is actually half of what I'm asking for.
Exactly.
And I'm asking for a top 15%
yeah.
man at 33. So have you ever dated a man who makes that much money?
I have not.
Have not. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Would you marry a guy who makes less money than you?
That would be tricky. I make about like 50,000.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's kind of like average, I guess. But if he's making less than me, that might be a little difficult.
Okay.
I would like for him to make at least the same amount or a little more.
Okay. So going back to the number that you chose, $1 million, what made you say that number? Is it like your own income or guys that you've dated? Like what is influencing you choosing $1 million?
Guys that I've dated.
Okay.
But see, it sounds like money matters to me, but it really doesn't. Because, I mean, I'm fine on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like to feel like I'm being provided for.
Right. So those guys that you dated, were they guys that you dated like exclusively? Like were you official with them or was it more of like a casual thing?
Casual for one, exclusive for the other.
Okay. What made you guess 80?
Because it sounded like a decent number that could like support a family without being too like extravagant.
Right. Something comfortable.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind working though. I'm a daycare teacher and I love it, so I
Aw.
wouldn't mind like still doing it. Also, I make a little bit of money off of like my music and
Yeah.
stuff. So, because I make my own music, so I make like a little bit of money.
Okay, so you have a couple things going on.
Yeah, so like that's why I would like to be a stay-at-home mom or wife or whatever, so I could like pursue those things and see if I could just make money doing things that isn't like an employee, like a job.
Right.
Like,
Just stuff that
I
you
know.
enjoy. Have you ever dated a man who makes 80K?
No.
No. What are the ranges of men that you've dated? Like what do they typically make?
Just like average. I never ask them.
Okay.
Like I don't know. Like I don't think I've really ever talked about finances with someone.
Okay.
To be honest, I've only had like one serious boyfriend my whole life. The
Okay.
others have just been like dates.
Would you marry a guy who made less money than you? Ideally.
Yeah. It would just be difficult, but
Right.
I mean, whatever. If you love them, then it's really not that difficult, I suppose.
What made you say 200,000? Like what about, maybe your background, you never knew? Have you dated guys that make that much?
Yeah.
What makes you guess or what makes you want 200,000 at 32?
I dated a surgeon. So I think for me, it's like when you get exposed to a certain lifestyle when you're dating a person, you kind of don't want to date lower than that per se. But also like with my company, I'm in that range. So I want someone making the same amount as me or more than me, right? Like someone who can maintain my lifestyle as opposed to like someone who can't. So if like they make 200K and I make 200K, like God forbid something happened, like I would still be able to cover life expenses with a family as opposed to not, kind of thing.
Right. So the fact that you've dated a guy in this realm kind of impacts, how you view men of a man that you would want to be with, I guess.
Right, yeah.
And then also where you're at financially. You
Yeah.
would want someone to be at your level or higher.
Or higher.
So
Yeah.
then it obviously shrinks the pool of men that you're looking at.
Yeah, significantly.
And the guy that you dated, was it like exclusive? Were you guys official or was it like a very casual thing?
No, like it was a relationship and
Okay.
he was doing a program, like a fellowship, and then he actually went home to where he was from, which was Dubai. So
Oh, so you broke up
we
because
broke
of
up.
that?
Yeah, because he left. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay.
interesting.
Would you ever marry a guy who makes less money than you?
How much less?
Any less?
Yeah.
If a guy was great at 32 years old
Yeah.
in every single way except he made $48,000, would you date him? Or would that be too low?
48,000 is too low. If he was making like, if he planned to be the breadwinner, even like to me 80, 90K, I would go for, because if he's gonna be providing, right, I think that's more than fair. Yeah, but not too much less, because you still have to think like that's more like a middle class, upper middle class ish lifestyle. That's like healthy to raise a family, but someone on 48K and you want them to be the provider, it just won't.
Right,
be
if you want to be
sustainable.
a stay-at-home mom and he's making
Right.
48, take-home pay 35.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you ever marry a guy who makes less money than you? Like,
That's
would you marry the 33-year-old that you chose? The median income is $49,000. Would you date a guy who made $49,000?
I could. I just wouldn't want like somebody being jealous of like me making more. That would be the only issue. Like if they're fine with me like making more, then okay. But don't like be jealous and try to come from my pockets, you know.
It's crazy because only over 70% of men never make 100K even once in their lifetime. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
I think in 2021 alone, it was like 23.4% of men made 100K, but that's for the entire workforce, men 16 to 75. So you have to assume most of them are older because it takes a while to make money,
Right.
you know? And only one age from 16 to 75 has the top 10% of men making 200K, which is what you wanted. If you had to guess, which age do you think it is?
Maybe like 35?
75.
75. Jesus Christ.
Would you date a 75-year-old?
No.
No?
No.
What do you think after hearing that?
Holy mackerel. It's eye-opening. It's things, that's helpful to know when you're dating and, salary comes up in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I could date a guy that's making not as much money as long as like there's planning and like, I don't know, it's just a level of comfort, I guess.
What do you think just generally after hearing like the median income and the statistics that I shared?
Wait,
Like,
about
is
what?
it shocking? Is the median income of 49,000, like, is that shocking?
No, not really. Based on like a few factors, just the fact that society's gotten so expensive. Well, just everything in society is so expensive nowadays, and I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that shocking to me, honestly.
Right. It's hard to make money.
It's just hard. Yeah, it's hard to make money. Plus,
Yeah.
a lot of people are lazy nowadays and don't want to try.
After hearing the statistics of the 26-year-old making 38,000 as the median income, are there any compromises that you would be willing to make to the life that you just painted after hearing what the reality is?
I would make some adjustments because I do realize that when you're 26, you're probably not going to be making like the height of your money. So I would definitely adjust it to be a little bit lower, but not as low as like the 38K.
Okay. What is the lowest you would be comfortable going?
Probably 60,000.
Okay. So what are your thoughts after hearing the statistics? Are you shocked? What do you think?
I'm pretty shocked by the statistics, but I also wonder like the education level of the average American to see like what that looks like in terms of like money wise or the kind of jobs that the average person does get.
Would you be willing to make any changes or compromises to the kind of picture you painted of your life based off of hearing these statistics?
Shoot for the stars, you know. But I think life is like about compromise, so you can't always have everything you want, so sometimes you do have to lower your standards a little bit.
What if the 33-year-old making 100K, what if he was great in every way, what you wanted for sure, but he was 5'5"?
5'5". That 5'5", I feel like I couldn't do it.
So you wouldn't compromise on the height though?
No.
And only 14.5% of men are over 6 feet. So then when you're combining only 15% of men that you're looking for are making 100K at 30, 33, plus the 14.5% of men being over 6 feet, you're really limiting your options there.
Yeah. There's someone for everybody though, so.
Hearing this, like, is there any kind of compromises that you would make to what you want after hearing the median income? Like, would you maybe not go for the Mercedes? Or would it be okay if the guy was 5'5", that kind of stuff?
Yeah, cars to me aren't super important. Yeah, there's always compromises you can make. Think like what are the odds that there's someone who's over 6 feet making 6 figures and is my age? Like,
right.
That I understand that's
between
not that
20 and 40, I think the men who are 6 feet making 6 figures is like 2%.
Yeah.
So it's something crazy.
And I get that.
It's crazy. After hearing these statistics, like, what are your thoughts? Would you be willing to make any changes or compromises? Kind of seeing how rare it is what you're asking for.
Yeah, I think you have to, right? Because in my opinion, dating is also like competition. Like, there's other people who are qualified and want the same things as you want.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do want, like me, a family and stuff, you'd have to keep your options open. That's just me personally. Yeah. But long as it's not like, I know it sounds unfair to say, like 50K, 40K, 35K won't be sustainable for me personally, but like 80K, 90K is something reasonable. And I think more people make that.
That's just kind of like the idealized image I have in my head. but I consider myself to be a pretty flexible person.
Yeah.
So, if I fall deeply in love with someone that isn't able to give me those things that I'm thinking of, then I can compromise.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go with what life brings.
The lifestyle that I would dream to have,
Mm-hmm.
he would have to have money. It's unfortunate, but like it's not a necessity.
Like at this point, like would you rather be single than settle for less than that?
Settle for less than the millionaire?
Yeah.
I would not rather be single.
Okay.
I'm okay with settling.
Like if you were to think about it more realistically instead of thinking in terms of like dream life, like where the dream would be the million, what would be like a more realistic number or like the lowest number that you would be comfortable with?
That they make a year.
Yeah.
100K.
Okay. Yeah, you might have to make some compromises with that. What would you be willing to compromise if you were to settle for the guy who's making 100K?
Don't have to have a fancy car.
Okay.
Cute little house is fine. I mean, as long as we're happy and I have kids because I want kids.
Mm-hmm. So the kids are the only compromise that you really wouldn't?
Yeah, I would not. If they don't want kids, I wouldn't.
Okay. $100,000 at 29 is the top 11% of men at 29. So still pretty small, but more realistic than the millionaire for sure. The median income never eclipses $61,000, regardless of the age, 16 to 75. Crazy.
That's actually surprising. I would see that like for women, but for men, that's surprising to me.
And what do you think makes you think that there's more millionaires than there are?
Because I know a few.
Okay.
So it's just surprising that I even know that 1%.
Right. So you feel like it's so shocking that you know the 1%, so you feel like there has to be more if you know one.
Yes.
Kind
and
of that kind
I've
of.
seen people do it, especially now with like social media and influencers. Like I feel like there's so many of them out there now.
I think social media makes it seem like there's a lot more than there are. And I
Very
think
true.
a lot of like influencers and just people that are on social media make it seem like they have way more money than they actually do.
Yeah.
I have noticed as I've gotten older, people buy things that they cannot afford.
I am one of those people.
All right, guys, that is all I have for this video. If you like this style of video, you want me to continue bringing girls on and having these conversations, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. Let me know what you think down below. Also, let me know some other questions you would like me to ask girls in the future. Would love to hear your feedback and opinion. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.